This is kind of a new thing for me. It's something I've wanted to try to do for a long time, which is a news show, talking about nerdy news for stuff that you guys probably care about if you're watching this. I'm not really sure, how I want to go about doing this, but, here's our first episode. I'm just going to jump into some big news pieces of the week. First up is probably the biggest one, Mass Effect Andromeda. In all of its development woes, Jason Schreier over Kotaku has written about what happened to the development of the game and a lot of the things that plagued the development and why things sort of didn't go as planned. Some of the takeaways from the article, though I do highly encourage you to read the whole thing, is that the original vision of the game was to have procedurally generated planets, sort of like No Man's Sky. That was, completely scrapped eventually because they realized that it was too hard to tell a Mass Effect story in a world that was procedurally generated. One of the other things was that the developers were using the Frostbite engine, which was used to make Battlefield, and that proved to be difficult to use for some reason. And then in 2015, they decided to do away with that original vision of procedural generation, and they decided to do something more traditional. But that meant that the game, a large chunk of the game, was made in 18 months. Couple that with all the problems that they were experiencing, it seemed like it was just a rushed project. Next up is a bit of news for comic book fans and fans of the Teen Titans. The Titans live-action show, which will debut at some point on Warner Brothers' new streaming platform, is going to start filming in September. They're going to start filming in Atlanta, though no other news about who's going to be in it, whether it's actors or characters, has been revealed. Personally, I'm really, really excited about this. I think that they could do something very cool. I hope that it's part of the Arrowverse, that is Arrow, The Flash, and Legends of Tomorrow. I think that Manu Bennett should reprise his role as Deathstroke and be the main antagonist of Season 1 of Titans. But I digress. Obviously, I have a lot of thoughts about this. It's something that I really hope that they do well, but we'll see how it goes. They will start filming in September. The next piece of news is political, but it has a nerdy interest to it. Over at Twitch News, which is twitch.tv/news, they have decided that they're going to air former FBI Director James Comey's testimony on Twitch News. This is kind of interesting because it brings the news of the testimony to an audience that might not, watch it. So just like it says in the report from Twitch, that they went and did this last summer for the Republican and Democratic conventions. They wanted to bring this sort of news, this sort of thing, to an audience of people who primarily go to Twitch to do what Twitch is for, which is watch video games. So I think it's kind of interesting. We'll see where that goes. As I'm recording this, the testimony is already concluded. I don't know what kind of how many people were watching the Twitch stream, but I think it's a nice effort from Twitch to do something like that. The second to last piece of news has a spoiler warning on it. It has to do with the Justice League movie. So if you don't want to know anything about the Justice League movie, fast forward through this part. Antiope, that is Robin Wright's character, who we saw die in the Wonder Woman movie, will be in Justice League, along with her sister Hippolyta, that is Wonder Woman's mother. We don't know how they're going to appear in the movie, but we know that they shot some scenes, so I don't know if that's a flashback, or if Antiope somehow comes back. I have no idea, but it's interesting to know that there are going to be scenes with those characters. I'm hoping they'll take place on Themyscira. Obviously, it would be weird if they didn't, because A, the Amazons can't leave, and if they do, they can't come back. So either Wonder Woman found a way to come back, or it's a flashback, or her mother and aunt have left the island. I don't know. We'll see. Justice League comes out this November, so we'll see soon enough. And the last piece of news is kind of a funny one. The developers of Cyberpunk 2077, aka the developers of the Witcher series, CD Projekt Red, they released a statement saying that files, documents related to the production of Cyberpunk 2077, which is their upcoming game, has been taken by people who should not have them. And according to a statement they released on Twitter, these people are asking for a ransom in return for these documents, and should they not provide that ransom, then they'll release the documents online. Who knows what will come of this, but I don't know. I'll just read a small portion of what the statement says, which is, a demand for ransom has been made, saying that should we not comply, the files will be released to the general public. We will not be giving into the demands of the individual or individuals that have contacted us, which might eventually lead to the files being published online. The appropriate legal authorities will be informed about the situation. It goes on to say that the documents are from an early part of the production of the game, and they don't represent, the final game. So, if these end up going online, because CD Projekt Red has decided that they're not going to comply, which is what they have decided, then you will be able to see these documents yourself. This just happened literally this morning, so we'll see where this goes. And yeah, that's the first episode of, I don't know, this news show, this nerdy news show. No real name yet. It's just kind of a project that I've been wanting to do for a very long time. I like nerdy stuff. I like news. There you go. So my name's Michael. Thanks for watching, and tune back into the Nerd Club for more.